good morning, and we are back with Judging by the Cover, where today I am pulling another game under the Chucklefish publisher label, developed by Hidden Layer Games, which I have not looked into Hidden Layer at all before this. I was going down Chucklefish because I was looking at some of their games this month after just falling in love with Witchbrook for its visual and vibe. And it looks like this is yet another game that really leans into its pixel aesthetic to give it a rich storytelling in what looks like they describe it as a puzzle platformer, a cinematic puzzle platformer, and some of the gameplay does appear to be kind of Metroidvania-esque with a very simple but endearing visual style that uses a lot of blue hues to invoke its atmosphere. With that, we're going to go ahead and scroll down. It is on sale at the moment of this recording. I'm recording this right before uploading, so if you catch this early, maybe you can get it on sale if you get it super early. It is also a part of the Chucklefish and Friends bundle, which $104, but that's quite a bit. But it is a lot of games under that Chucklefish label. So what we're looking at here, we go to about this game. Something is lurking in the shadows. Inmost, by Lithuania-based indie studio Hidden Layer Games, is an emotional and deeply atmospheric narrative-driven puzzle platformer. Uncover the story of an adventurous young girl, a stoic knight, and a man in search of answers. So some of the characters that we see in the trailer make sense. The stoic knight looks like the one with the sword that we see doing the actual gameplay, the fighting, the combat on the side scroller. And the young girl, clearly shown here in the house, they don't show much of her in the gameplay for the couple of trailers that it gives us on Steam. But then we have explore a crumbling, nightmarish landscape, slice through enemies, spring deadly traps in order to escape an evil that awaits. Inmost is an intimate story of loss and hope that some may find upsetting. Player discretion is advised. Okay, so they let you know up front that it's like, we're exploring some themes that might hit you in the feels. So, approach with caution. And it features you venture through a hauntingly atmospheric pixel art world, which we do see. The trailer illustrates that very well, just through the use of color. I do see here in this banner they have some yellows in there to contrast the blues, but most of the trailer did show some heavy blue tones to kind of give it the atmospheric feel that they're looking for. You got three main characters, each with their own unique gameplay style, so you do play as more than just that knight with the sword. A knight adventures into the depths of a deteriorating castle. A child uncovers the past of an eerie house, and a wanderer searches for answers. The wanderer must be the if I scroll up and look at some of these, this older gentleman here, no armor or anything, and he does look like he's accompanied by a shadow of sorts in some of his scenes. So there is that, which is kind of an interesting dynamic to see that maybe there's some kind of uh, dual nature to his part of the gameplay while you're figuring things out. You lure enemies into lethal traps, solve environmental puzzles, utilize your scythe, hookshot, and pickaxe to avoid a gruesome end. Discover a 3 to 5 hour emotional story. So it's a pretty short game, intended to be played in a single sitting on a dark, stormy night. You know, that alone might have sold me on the game, at least while it's on sale. Explore every nook and cranny to find secret passages and collectibles, featuring the vocal talents of Andrew Dennis and Cassandra Lee Morris. Uh, okay, I'm not familiar with those names off the top of my head, but anybody that has followed their work, by all means, let me know how how out of touch and off the wall I am here. Playable in 14 languages. Okay, so you get a lot of options for being able to play around the world. Each pixel is placed with love. Okay, that's endearing. Doesn't tell me much about the gameplay, but it's a nice little note to put in the highlights. And features Corsair IQ RGB dynamic lighting functionality for PC. So a little bit of note there. And again, we see here in this banner the contrast showing the blue foreground with some yellow background so that it pops with this brightly lit fox character. I'm wondering if they have like some kind of a play into the Kitsune legend. So with that, let's take a look at our screenshots here. The trailers are beautifully done with a good mix of what looks like their gameplay and little story beats. We do see the old man and looks like some elderly masked character, I'm guessing, off in the side there. We do see the knight here, and this is what made me think Castlevania, considering that the knight is exploring a decrepit castle, and it looks like that's the whole point here is to platform through and fight your enemies to get through the castle levels. We have here again the old man, and this looks kind of like Castlevania, but I'm kind of getting a Terraria vibe maybe where you have this underground situation going on and having to rescue certain other NPCs or characters. We see the girl here out in the tree house in the woods. I wonder if that's somehow indicative of the haunted or decrepit house that she's supposed to explore. We have the old man up here in another tree house, it looks like. Just little hints at what these characters are going to be going through or what they're going to be seeing. We see the knight here with more monsters and everything, and I'm wondering if the other characters do have to face off with monsters too, but maybe in less of a combat setting and more of a hide and escape type of role. Uh, Looks like we have a little bit of the knight having a little fairy companion. Maybe, does he have his own navvy? Um, this does look like the old man is going through the castle that the knight was pictured in. So I'm wondering if, like I was saying just a minute ago, it looks like the old man might have some story beats where you have to maybe avoid monsters because he's not a combatant. And then, of course, a little story beat here. We have I'm guessing that's probably the child character. It's either the child character or the old man sitting on the bridge here with that fox. That's got to be some kind of maybe mid or end point to the story, I would guess. I don't know. It gives a lot of little hints. Visually, like for the pixel art, it looks like it's very well crafted, that they wanted to give it a ton of focus on the atmosphere, and considering that this is a studio that comes from outside of mainstream gaming cultures in the US or Japan or even like China or Korea, where there's like probably larger studios, the fact that this is coming, there's got to be some kind of. I'm wondering if there's like a folklore that inspired this, or just what exactly the developers had gone through when creating this, or what kind of life experiences inspired their creation of this. Because we do see a lot of like the growing plant situation here is telling me that they've got some kind of a focus on possibly life, death, rebirth, where the tree is growing, but at the same time, it's very dark and creepy in its vibe while everything is piecing together. It gives a lot of. Like, it's not the kind of trailer that tells you up front what you're getting into. It shows you the visuals, and the other trailer shows some gameplay. I would say that looking at the game here, it's $15, so $14.99 US full price, currently on sale for 70% off, so $4.49. That is now. By the time this goes up or you're seeing this, that sale is probably over. But keep an eye out for it to go on sale again. I don't know if I would necessarily want to put in $15 for a 3 to 5 hour game, but depending on its replayability, that could very well be worth it if it's the kind of thing that you want to play a few different, like 3, 4, 5 times just to dive deeper into the story, or if there's other difficulty or completion criteria to do like a 100% completionist run. It doesn't really tell us much of that in the gameplay or in the information on the store page. But I would say, I think with being on with the sale price, I'd say a possible 7 out of 10, maybe 5 at full price, just based on what we have on the store page. We do see a little bit of the gameplay. I don't know exactly how fast-paced it gets here. We do see the characters walking fairly slowly, but that it shows a mix of cinematic and gameplay. It's hard to determine which is which in this. Of course, now that is to say the 5 to 7 rating that I'm giving it, that's not a bad thing. It's just that how much it sells me on the game for paying $5 or $15 is that's what leaves me on the fence, is how much gameplay I'm going to get out of it but as a story in its own right, it looks amazing. It looks like it could be a very touching story. The atmosphere, especially if you do play on a dark and stormy night, as stereotypical as that sounds, could be an incredible vibe. Or, do like if you have like some kind of a horror theme going on, maybe do this as like a Halloween get together or Halloween streaming kind of thing to enjoy with your community. Um, but that's the main thing that holds me back from ranking this higher is just how much gameplay or how much time I would get playing it. But the atmosphere, like I said, the atmosphere does feel incredible. It's just I'm a little hung up on how much time I think I would get from it. But do not get me wrong, I think it looks amazing. Now, even though I'm not playing the controls, this is a judgment based solely on the on what the store page presents. But the store does present an amazing atmosphere, an amazing graphic. It's just it doesn't tell me much outside of you get 3 to 5 hours of gameplay out of it, which is like okay, if I'm gonna put some money into something, I like to be able to get a lot of time out of it. But this does look like something that if it goes on another sale or something, I may go ahead and pop on this to see what kind of value I get from it. And anybody else out there who has played this, because this came out in 2020, this has been around for a while. If anybody else has played this, let me know what your thoughts are. If you've played other similar games or other things that done by Hidden Layer Games, by all means, let me know. Tell me how wrong or how wrong I am, or how infuriated you are with my call. And in the meantime, I do hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and if you enjoy some spooky vibes, give this a look, or maybe check out some other gameplay videos or something of it, because right now all I'm going on is the trailers.